Boruto Tubula Vortex Chapter 1 is the sequel to Boruto Naruto Next Generations. It follows Boruto Uzumaki as he faces the challenges of the village hating him, basically being branded as a rogue shinobi, going off to train with Sasuke Uchiha, and basically returning to the village. And it is the new story for Boruto Uzumaki. And at the beginning of this chapter, we see Sarada as she talks to the new Hokage, Shikamaru, and his aide, Konohamaru. So their relationship basically works that Shikamaru took over as Hokage after Naruto was deemed dead or pronounced dead by Boruto as everything changed when Omnipotence hit. And he has taken the mantle as Hokage, and Konohamaru is now his aide in the same way that Shikamaru was Naruto's aide when he was Hokage. So that's their relationship. And basically Sarada is telling them that they should stop trying to hunt after Boruto, let him explain himself and come back to the village. To which Shikamaru basically says, that's not going to happen, the whole village hates him, I hate him, we're not going to do that. So Sarada walks away, basically deeming that she believes that Naruto Uzumaki as the Hokage is her real idol and not Shikamaru. Next, we see Naruto and Hinata in the Daikokuten, captured there by Kawaki, basically imprisoned where time does not flow. And we can see that Kawaki can basically live in there, stay in there, but Naruto and Hinata, they can't. Next, we cut to Sarada and Sumire talking about omnipotence, how it has affected the village, how initially everybody there was skeptical about what was going on, how Boruto was in family photos and how he was a part of the village and whatnot, and how Kawaki was taken by Kara and weaponized and turned into this, scientific ninja tool, basically, his whole body, if he's lived in the village his entire life. So there were some discrepancies in the story, but omnipotence basically just forced them all to forget it. The more and more they dig into it, it's not the longer time passes, the more and more they just accept reality as it is. They accept that their memories have changed, that Kawaki is Boruto in Boruto's position, and Boruto is in Kawaki's position, and he's a rogue ninja now. So next we see Sarada trying to basically plead with Ada to reverse it. Is there a way? To which Ada says there's not. In the same way that her charm ability can't be reversed and she can't take it away, she can't take away this one for Boruto. And Ada poses a question as to how Sarada and Sumire are able to remember the old days if they're affected by omnipotence, like they claim they are, to which Damon gives them a stare, basically implying that he's skeptical or basically onto them that they could potentially hurt Ada, to which they distract it and they push away and they say, no, that's not possible. Next, we cut to Kawaki and Mitsuki basically having a little convo. It's basically Mitsuki telling Kawaki that he really cares about him, and if Boruto ever shows up to the village again, he's gonna kill him for trying to kill him, which is to say that Mitsuki thinks of Kawaki as Boruto, he cares about him in the same way he did with Boruto, and he would kill Boruto or Kawaki, in that position, so that way he could protect him, that's how much he cares. Next, we get a glimpse at Himawari and Team 10 basically training, and it's really cool to see that she's developing or she's becoming a new shinobi. She's really dedicated to it, but she still has some room to learn. And there, we kind of get a little deep into her mentality or her feelings for Boruto, her feelings about her mom and dad, where they are, where they've been, what's going on with them. It's kind of like her hopeful and optimistic perspective, how she's so young, but yet she's still hopeful. She has a gut feeling about caring about Boruto and how he's still a good person, in the same way that she would feel about Kawaki and how she feels about her mom and dad still being alive and out there somewhere. Next, we see Kawaki get a distress call or a call from the shinobi, basically telling him that Code's claw marks have appeared outside of the village, to which a group of shinobi went to investigate, and after Kawaki kind of shrinks all of them down or gets rid of them, they kind of go all right, good work, I'll see you later. They run into the village and live about their days as normally as possible. And then Kawaki notices on the back of their necks that they are marked with the claw mark. So now every shinobi that was in that direct area has a claw mark or could have a claw mark on them, to which Code then uses to invade the village. And he uses his claw grimes to come out and attack the village, and that's when the action starts to really pour on. We see Kawaki fight the Claw Grimes, we see Sarada fight the Claw Grimes, and we basically see that now Code has emerged from the Claw Grimes and is now attacking the village. And he's attacking the village to bring out Boruto, because he's been hunting him for the past 3 years, and hunting him down is kind of exhausting for him. So he's basically like, you know what? He's gonna come to me if I attack this village. So Sarada, why don't you try letting out a big scream so that way he can hear you and he'll show up. And Code immediately gets a foot on his face, and that's when we see Boruto arrive in the village. 3 years since he last left, and we see Sarada kind of go like, Boruto. We get a mild skirmish, basically Code trying to hurt Boruto, Boruto dodging, and now he's there in the village. Kawaki now senses that Boruto's in the village because of their karma resonance. They can basically feel each other's presence when they're in the nearby vicinity of each other, and Kawaki, Code, and Boruto basically have this final moment of like, Boruto's here, it's about to get crazy. And that's chapter 1 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. And I have to say, this was a really good starting chapter. It kind of hit little pieces of all the things that you want. And the story didn't really start to progress until Code arrived and started invading the village. So I thought that was really cool. I thought that was the big moment that was like going to spark everything. The story to get started is Code invading the village to bring out Boruto. Next, we got some light action with Himawari training. We saw them fight the Claw Grimes. It was kind of mild, it wasn't anything too crazy. Just a couple of hits here and there. And then finally Boruto dodging Code's attack or whatever. Next, we kind of learned different things about different characters. We learned that Shikamaru takes place as the Hokage. We learned that Sarada and Sumire are still unaffected by omnipotence. We know that Himawari is training to become a shinobi, a strong shinobi, and that she really cares about Boruto and Kawaki and her mom and her dad. She still has very heavy feelings. We know that the entire village is still affected by omnipotence, and that they really hate Boruto for what he did to the 7th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki. And the ending of it, I always feel like good stories leave you wanting more, or like hype you up for the next chapter, or what's going to happen next, or kind of coming up with your own ideas and your own stuff. So I feel like this chapter really ended on a really high note, and it makes you want to see more, and it has you on the edge of your seat to read the next chapter, and then the next chapter, and then the next chapter. So I feel like hype is a very cool thing at the end of a chapter. It's like, oh, I want more. I want to see how this plays out. So I think it was a really good chapter. With all that said, I think I'm going to give it a rating of 7.4 out of 10. It was really good. It was really light. It wasn't too crazy. You know what I mean? I think I was kind of like maybe expecting a little bit of a callback to the first chapter of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, where Kawaki and Boruto are fighting on the stone faces of the Hokage. I thought that would be a nice continuation of that, but instead we get a new story, or a new direction, and I think it's just as good. I think it's really great, and it's setting up all the puzzle pieces. It's setting up the story as it goes on. It's establishing the effects of omnipotence, the village, how they feel about Boruto, and the challenges he's going to face throughout the rest of the story. So really, really good chapter. I think it was a great comeback, and after it ended, I was like, oh, it's about to get really good. So it's going to be really cool. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Yeah,